We're live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, the 9th of September. It is 7:40 p.m. It is looking at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press here today in Spain. We'll take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. And as usual in these live streams, we'll go into the live chat section and see what's happening there among the viewers watching live. So if you are in the live chat this evening, say hello. We'll get straight into the news in just a moment. And some big news as far as smoking bans are concerned here in Spain. As we can see from this headline, Spain is to expand its smoke-free zones under new anti-tobacco law. The Spanish government has approved the draft bill to reform the 2005 anti-tobacco law, aiming to strengthen public health protection and regulate emerging products such as e-cigarettes and vapes. Health Minister Mónica García said the changes reflect scientific evidence and EU recommendations targeting youth prevention and creating a clearer legal framework for tobacco-related products. The proposed legislation, part of the 2024-2027 Comprehensive Tobacco Control Plan, significantly broadens smoke-free areas. Smoking will be banned within 15 metres of hospitals, schools, universities and social centres. In playgrounds, cultural and sports events or sports areas, including stadium stands, and in bar terraces, outdoor concerts and festivals. Smoking will also be prohibited at bus, metro and train stops, as well as in all work-related vehicles, even when the driver is alone. The law closes loopholes in hospitality venues where smoking on terraces was previously permitted, marking the most ambitious anti-tobacco reform in 2 decades. So there we go, bad news for smokers in Spain. The spaces that people will be able to have a ciggy or a smoke or a durry, as some people call them in Australia, to be limited with a reform to this law. And it makes common sense, I think, in some of the areas that the bans will be imposed on. For example, standing outside hospitals. Always surprises me that people stand just outside the doors of hospitals puffing away on their cigarettes, and also in playgrounds and areas like that, or outside schools where really it should already be in place, the ban that is. And the controversial one here will be the outdoor seating areas, or terraces, terrazas, as they're called in Spain, because as we know, that is where smokers like to sit when they're out and about having a drink. Sit outside and have their smoke with their beer, with their wine, or after their meal. So I'm sure there will be some opposition to this, because let's be honest, Spain is still a country where a lot of people smoke, and you only have to go and look outside any bar or restaurant here in Spain at all the cigarette butts on the ground that have been thrown there by the patrons to realize this. Second piece of news now, and Spain-Israeli relations not looking good at the moment, and even worse after yesterday's announcement by Pedro Sánchez, because they have hit a historic low after the Sánchez sanctions were announced. Diplomatic relations between Spain and Israel have plunged to their lowest point following Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez's announcement of new sanctions against Tel Aviv. The Spanish government has recalled its ambassador to Israel, Ana Salomon, and unveiled 9 measures aimed at increasing pressure over the Gaza conflict. Speaking from the government house, La Moncloa, Sánchez accused Israel of committing genocide and stressed that Spain's actions, while insufficient to halt the war, were designed to add pressure and ease the suffering of Gazan civilians. The measures include a law formalizing the arms embargo against Israel, in place since October 2023, a ban on entry to Spain for individuals directly involved in the conflict, and restrictions on Spanish ports for ships transporting fuel to the Israeli military. Israel has responded by barring Spain's Deputy Prime Minister Yolanda Díaz and Youth and Childhood Minister Sida Rego. So Spain talking tough on Israel, trying to halt the genocide that the Spanish government claims is taking place in that part of the world. And of course, the images that come out of that area every day are shocking, and Spain leading the way as far as sanctions are concerned, I believe, against the Israeli government, and we can see some of the measures there. And of course, the Minister Yolanda Díaz, one of the biggest opponents of the Israeli state, and the minister in the Sumar side of the government, Seda Rego, who has a Palestinian background. So those two obviously very vocal when it comes to these sanctions on Israel, and Mr. Sanchez listening to his ministers there, no doubt. And so a conflict that doesn't seem to have an end in sight, and we'll see if pressure from countries like Spain can halt what's going on in that part of the world. Third piece of news now, as we can see here, and Spain lags in education but shows progress in higher and early learning. Spain continues to trail international averages in education, according to the OECD's Education at a Glance 2025 report. Nearly 35% of Spanish adults have a low educational level, double the EU average, and 16 points higher than the OECD's. Spain also remains among the countries with the highest rates of young people not in education, employment, or training, known in Spanish as ninis. Despite this, the report highlights progress. Since 2010, Spain has cut the proportion of adults with only lower secondary education from 47.1% to 34.7%, a sharper decline than in both the EU and OECD. At the other end of the scale, Spain performs well. 42.3% of adults hold higher education qualifications above EU and OECD averages. Early childhood education is another strength, with enrollment rates for under 3 significantly higher than international levels, helping offset falling birth rates and supporting long-term educational gains. So Spain lagging behind as far as education is concerned. 35% of Spanish adults have a low educational level. So fairly clear that the differences between Spain when it comes to education levels and some other countries out there, especially in the EU and the OECD, Spain lagging behind. And also worrying is the amount of, well, I'm not going to call them kids, but young adults that leave school, don't get a job, sit around doing nothing all day, known as the ninis, still one of the biggest problems affecting this country here. And of course, they go on to be the undereducated adults in Spanish society that still, which as we saw there, Spain as a country performing fairly badly in the OECD. But the opposite of that is that when it comes to university education, Spain has a quite high score there. What was it? 42.3% of adults hold higher education. So it looks as though you either go to university or you do no other studies at all. And that, I think, is where Spain is lagging behind. And the final piece of news, and good news for pizza lovers out there, because 5 of the world's best pizzerias are found in Spain. Spain has secured a prominent place on the global pizza map, with 5 of its pizzerias ranked among the best in the world in the Top 50 Pizza World 2025 guide. Leading the Spanish contingent is Baldoria, a Madrid restaurant run by Neapolitan chef Ciro Cristiano, which has risen to 8th place worldwide, breaking into the global top 10 after a rapid climb from 64th in 2023 and 26th in 2024. Cristiano, who champions artisanal seasonal pizzas with a personal twist, described the achievement as particularly rewarding given the fierce competition. Other Spanish pizzerias recognized include Sartoria Panettiere in Barcelona, or Panettiere in Barcelona, ranked 20th, Fratelli Figurato in Madrid, 54th, and awarded Best Fried Food, Bal Messina in Barcelona, and De Mayo in Bilbao, all had appeared in the 2024 list and have confirmed their place in the latest edition. And if anybody out there is wondering what a pizza at the best pizzeria in Spain costs, their top-priced pizza is on the screen now. The famous Doña Giuseppina, 22 euros. It'll set you back. It's a crispy pizza, al padellino, Joselito Gran Reserva ham, 2019, cosecha or year. Slow-cooked San Marzano tomato, fresh Puglia burrata, cherry tomato confit, and basil on top. So there we go. That's what you're paying for a pizza at the number one pizza restaurant in Spain, according to that competition, I suppose you could call it. And what is it in the world? 8th in the world, I think, that we saw there. So the 8th best pizza in the world at that restaurant there in Madrid, and 22 euros for their specialty, the Doña Giuseppina. So I might go and check it out, because I do like a pizza every now and again, I'll tell you that. Now, let's have a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. First one here from Araya, I think this is, or Araya has a name. Wow, those houses are insanely close to the shore. I understand being attached to a generational family home, but you're literally going to be underwater in a year tops. That being said, they should be compensated to relocate. Thanks for the comment there, Arya. I think that's the pronunciation. If it isn't, sorry for that. But we saw the article the other day about these homes in, I think it was Alicante, just north of Torrevieja. Can't remember the exact name of the town, but homes that were built back in the day, back in the 1920s, 1930s, when there wasn't really a strong urban planning law in Spain, I don't think. I think you just, if you had the bricks and you had the mortar, up went your house wherever you wanted it to be. And some people deciding to build basically on the front line of the beach. Very, very close to the water now. Back in the day, it was a 50-meter walk to the shoreline, but nowadays the water laps up onto the constructions, and the local council down there and the central government that are controlled by the ruling party here in Spain, the PSOE party, want those houses demolished, and if they're not dealt with by the 16th of September, so 7 days away, the owners of those houses are going to have to pay for the demolition as well. So the cherry on top of the cake there. And I suppose people are divided because it is a hazard to have those properties there, and also not adhering to current Spanish laws. But other people, like we saw there, also saying that there is that generational nostalgia, that you don't want to lose the home that maybe your grandfather built back in the day. Whether it was a legal or illegal build at the time, I've got no idea, but the controversy continues. But as we saw the other day, there are many other examples of properties built very, very close to the waterline here in Spain, in places that they shouldn't have been built, basically. But some people are a little bit cheeky, as we know. Another comment here from It's Saman or something. Red Nose needs to remember that not everyone that voted for Brexit was of the older generation, and not all of the older generation voted to leave. Thanks for the comment there. This was a reply to something that I mentioned on the channel the other day, a comment from somebody saying that the Brexit referendum, the person implied that many people that like the swallow lifestyle of coming down here for the winter months and not really having to worry about the 90-day law were people that voted for Brexit back in the day, and they have to now swallow their medicine, basically, which is what Red Nose, was it, pointed out the other day. And this person pointing out here that the fact of the matter is that, what are the words exactly? Not all of the older generation voted to leave, and not everyone that voted for Brexit was of the older generation. So that basically sums that referendum up, and I'll leave it at that. Sub-architect has a comment that that first story is disgusting. Demolishing an octogenarian's home and then charging her for the privilege. Absolutely shocking. Shame on them. So the strong point of view here from sub-architect DJ that demolishing the 80-year-old's home and then charging her for the privilege of getting a knockdown is not on. So the government in the wrong there. But as I said, I think opinion is divided on this one here. And some people would like to see the buildings removed because they are a bit of an eyesore, let's be honest. A lot of them are in rack and ruin. Some of them have been done up. But of course, when those winter storms come through, you wouldn't want to be living there, I don't think. It might be okay in the summer, but in the winter months, don't know. So thanks for the comment. Another one here from Recipe Review. They have had more than 20 years notice. Many have done nothing but stick their head in the sand. Several houses have already been washed away and many are unsafe. I know this area well and have seen homes disappear after some rough, stormy weather. So the other side of the coin being put forward here by Recipe Review, those homes basically are a disgrace, shouldn't be there, and the owners have been sticking their head in the sand for a long time now because the demolition orders have been around for a while. But typically with Spanish law, these things take a while to get through the court system for the orders to be executed. People put in complaints and slow the legal process up, and that's why the houses are still there basically. And of course another political party might come into power and be in favour of allowing the people to live there. I don't know, but according to Recipe Review, heads in the sand, the owners there. Another one here from SG. Great video. I have to wonder if the US's risk assessment of other countries is a scare tactic to keep tourism dollars in the country instead of US tourists flocking abroad. I have never felt unsafe in Spain or other neighbouring countries. Thanks, SG, in reply to a video that I put out yesterday about the safety aspect of Spain, the country's advisory, some countries' advisories that they have for Spain. The United States level 2. Terrorism, I think, was one of the main reasons for that level 2. Also, possible civil disturbances when there are rallies and protests, demonstrations, things like that. The US level 2 for Spain, and the UK and Australia level 1, citing some of the similar issues, of course, but not saying that it is as risky as perhaps the United States would lead us to believe. Has it got anything to do with wanting United States citizens to stay in their own country and spend their holiday dollars at home? No idea. To be honest, I have no idea, but I'm sure there is a philosophy out there that governments would prefer their citizens to be spending the money at home rather than in countries like Spain, but couldn't be proved, I don't think. Couldn't be proved. But anyway, just my opinion. And the final comment here from Kazam. I've just come back from 3 weeks in Nerja, Costa del Sol, and couldn't have felt more wanted and safe. It's a beautiful part of Spain. Everyone was very friendly, and I felt safe, even late at night. Thanks for the comment there, Kazam. Recently returned from Nerja down there in the province of Malaga and felt safe. So no issues as far as security in Spain is concerned. Of course, there's going to be always some petty crime taking place, especially in the main tourist areas. If you go to any of the central parts of cities here in Spain where the tourists normally hang out, you'll get people that are trying to relieve those tourists of their belongings, and that's the way their business model works. They see an easy target, somebody who might not be paying attention to their phone or to their bag, or maybe they leave a bag with gear on the ground, and somebody will quickly relieve you of your possessions. But not common, not unique to Spain. Sorry, it is common all over Europe, and I imagine in many parts of the world this type of petty crime is taking place. But as far as other crimes go, I've always felt relatively safe here in Spain. I can't speak from a woman's perspective, of course, how they feel walking around the streets here late at night, but the women that I know haven't had too many problems, I don't think, if they've had problems at all. So, fairly safe country, I would say Spain is. Let us know your opinions in that comment section below if you agree with people like, who was it there? Kazam. Let us know. Now, live chat time. Time to go into the live chat, see what's been bubbling away there. Before I do, I need to change the backdrop photo. This one was sent in by Peter, and it is the Gandia Town Hall. Gandia in the Valencian community. Not sure if it's Valencia or Alicante, but it's in that part of Spain where you get that nice Mediterranean weather. And here we have the local town hall in that city, Gandia. So thanks, Peter, for sending it through. If you've got a similar picture you would like to see on the backdrop, spainspeaks@gmail.com is the email address. You can send them through to that email. And also, if you want to send anything else my way, anything like a piece of news, any other information related to Spain, I had a few emails today come in on various things. I think Marco sent me an email about the recent crackdown Spain has had on Israel with all of the new sanctions. So thanks, Marco, for sending that one through. spainspeaks@gmail.com. The like icon is on the screen too. If you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it. Just let me de-blur the background a bit there also. There we go. And so anything you want to send my way, to emails, and also hit the like icon if you haven't done so already. People that have supported the channel in recent times, super thanks on the YouTube platform, super chat also during the live streams, people that have bought me a coffee, Patreon supporters, thank you very much for that, and also the channel members, which I believe we have a new channel member today, which I'll get to in just a moment. So thanks for considering joining if you haven't done so already, this channel here on YouTube, to help keep the channel going, basically, with you guys support. Very, very important. Now, I'm going to go into the live chat. Let's check out what's happening there. I think I saw a live chat, so I'll get to that. A super chat. There we go. One here from Marcus. Thank you very much, Marcus. Regular contributor to the channel, valued member, and always with some good input here. As we can see, it's all well and good banning smoking in these places, but it's peeing in the wind when there are so many old smoky diesels on the roads, despite ITV. Yes, Marcus, that is the case, isn't it? All of the old smoky diesels, as you call them here, especially in some of the smaller cities and towns around the country. You can't get away with the old smoky diesel anymore in cities like Madrid or Barcelona or other cities that have implemented the low emissions zones. So you would have had to sell your old smoky diesel, most likely to somebody who's living in a town not far away from where you are, but don't have any restrictions at all. So that's what we're dealing with here. I have a diesel car, and I don't think it's at the stage where it's old and smoky yet, but its days are limited in big cities here. So thanks, Marcus, for that. So banning smoking in all of those places when all of the diesels are still roaming around, counterproductive maybe. Alan just became a member, so thank you very much, Alan, for that. Greatly appreciated. Welcome on board and welcome to the community. Another member is Andrew. Good evening, Stuart and all. Hope your week is off to a good start from a nice and sunny day here in London South East. Good to see you, Andrew. Good to see you. Regular viewer, of course. Barbara is in the chat as well, another valued member coming in from another humid day at the Playa Flamenca, 28 degrees Celsius, but feeling a bit hotter there. Sadly, no much needed rain that was supposed to be here today. Not sure what's happening as far as the rain is concerned, Barbara, but I'm sure you'll get some storms down there soon in that part of Spain, I'm sure. John, valued member, also in the chat. Flights booked for their return to Almeria in October. Can't wait. Thanks, John, for that. I hope all goes well with your trip back to Spain. James and Kathy are in the chat also from an overcast Worcester. Should have been travelling to Spain this week, so hopefully make it in December. Thanks, guys, for that. Hope everything is well health-wise. I think that's one of the reasons why you cancelled. So let's hope health gets better and back in December. What else we got going on here? TOL is in the chat too, saying hello to all his friends here. Beautiful 22 degrees Celsius in the morning there in San Diego. Back to El Puerto in October. Can't wait, says Al. Amanda's coming in from a rainy Shropshire. Good to see you, Amanda. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Triz2000 saying, I hope they don't ban smoking on the terrace at Alicante Airport. I often choose that airport solely because of smoking balcony pass security. Otherwise, I'd fly to Valencia, which is better connected. Interesting there, Tris. Not sure what's going on as far as that airport is concerned. I don't think airports were mentioned. I think there were other places mentioned in that article that we saw, but if it is the case and they ban smoking on the terrace at Alicante Airport, Valencia it will have to be. Gigi's in the chat, coming in from Surprise, Arizona. Temperatures cooling there, only 42 degrees Celsius. So a bit cooler there, Gigi, 42. A bit cooler. Marianne is in the chat, enjoying the community, and coming in from San Diego, California. Thanks for keeping us informed. No worries, Marianne. You're welcome. Makish is in the chat too. Smoking in public places should be banned. Smoke in your own houses, and don't force it upon others, I say. That's the common argument put forward by the non-smoker, Makish. Keep smokers in their own spaces, their own houses, and not forcing it upon others. And I understand that for people that don't smoke, sitting outside and enjoying your meal or your drink could be spoilt by having a group of smokers near you, next to you, or behind you, wherever they should be sitting. So could be uncomfortable. Alma is in the chat as well. We have escaped the rain in Beni Hofad, apart from the village 4 or 5 miles away that is bailing out water from their basement from last night's rain. So it fell heavily in the town near where Alma is there, close to Beni Hofad. That's basically how a lot of these storms operate. They're isolated. They crash down on one particular area, and you might be living in the village just a few kilometers down the road, and you know nothing. You see nothing. You know nothing. While your neighbors are bailing out their garage. Bex saying, well done, Spain. Hate sitting on a terrace to eat, having secondhand smoke blowing all over me. I smoked for 20 plus years, but would never smoke near people eating or non-smokers, and that was in Spain. Thanks for that, Bex. So the common point of view put forward so far by a couple of people. Rube Dog is this, coming in from Denver, Colorado. Don't think I've seen a Rube Dog in the chat before. Good to see you. Ramon I have seen, coming in from Texas. Thanks for making these very informative videos. Please keep them coming. Thanks, Ramon. I think I'll keep them going for a while. Greg with a joke. Can't believe that Telepizza wasn't on the list. Surprising that one, right, Greg, that Telepizza was left off the list of the best pizzerias in the world. Very popular pizza it has been over the journey. When they dominated the market back in the day, I think they were the first delivery pizza outlet here in Spain. I think they might have even gone public, the company, back in the day, gone onto the stock market. Not sure if that's the case anymore, because from what I've seen, there's a lot of competition in the pizza market, in the delivery pizza market, which Telepizza was dominating there for a while, as I said, with a substandard pizza. But that was 20 or 30 years ago. Times have changed. Al owned an Italian restaurant in Hollywood and was surprised to find 7 pizzerias within walking distance from his El Puerto apartment. 3 are in the building. 3 in the building, Al? Seems a bit excessive. They must have a liking for pizzas down there in that part of the world. Dave is in the chat here too, coming in from Florida. It would be wonderful if the terraces were to become smoke-free. I'll support that. Well, that's the question, Dave. I think it's at the moment it's only just a plan that the government is going to try and get through Parliament. It might have some opposition. It might not. You never know how politics will work here. But it seems the sensible thing to do, especially getting rid of smoking from some of the places that we saw, right? Outside hospitals, outside schools. What else? Let's have a look. Frank is in the chat saying if the Spanish government is helping these folks move, is the Spanish government helping these folks move, provided somewhere to stay and money for the move? I don't think so, Frank. I don't think that is the case. I think people have to find their own accommodation once those places are demolished. And if they're not, if the situation's not sorted, as we saw by the 16th of this month, just around the corner, they're going to have to pay for the demolition. I think it was between 6,000 and 12,000 euros. I think that was the case. How does it work for those displaced by the volcano on La Palma? Does the state give them any assistance for new housing? I think that is the case, Dave, that people that lost their homes during the volcanic eruption, 5 years ago now, they were given support to buy a new home. I think the circumstances are different. Again, you could argue that, you build on any of the Canary Islands with active volcanoes, you run the risk of getting it burnt down when the lava starts coming out of an eruption, which is what happened on La Palma. But the government's treating it differently to those houses down there, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that is the case. And, has all of the compensation come through for those volcano victims? Don't know. But I imagine that it would be quite advanced. Charlie saying here that when it comes to microaggressions, I noticed a young woman and one flamboyant man making eyes at me the other day in Spain. Watch out. Thanks, Charlie. You've got to be on alert, I think, when you're in some of these high-risk areas to get your possessions snatched. And if you do see people eyeing you off, as you say there, just change your tack or go into a public place, or I don't know what you can do, but you might see your thieves coming your way. I don't know. Regarding the US, says Ian, marking Spain at level 2, that probably has more to do with Americans being known to be nervous about leaving their own country. I would say they are safer in Spain than a lot of the US, finishes Ian here. Again, a lot of people might side with you there, Ian, with that statement. Other people might not. I don't know. But, Frank here is saying that the US is a lot more dangerous than Europe as a whole. As a matter of fact, the state with the lowest crime in the USA is much higher than the highest crime rate in Spain. There we go. Thanks, Frank. I know that Mr. Trump recently mentioned Madrid when it came to murder rates or crime rates, I think, because he was trying to get the National Guard deployed in Washington. And he used Madrid in his argument of safe cities. So I think as far as certain types of crime are concerned, a lot safer maybe. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Charlie's looking to buy an old diesel. In fact, obviously not living in a city is Charlie, or a city that has any environmental restrictions, like Madrid, like Barcelona, Bilbao, I think also. So good luck with that, Charlie. If you want one, I might be able to sell you one. Get in contact. Patrick lives in the countryside, 3 miles from the nearest neighbour, 8 miles from the town front door, never locked, feel perfectly safe. There we go, Patrick feeling safe in that part of the country, living a bit remotely, I would say. Iggy Pop saying, what about cannabis social clubs, I wonder? Good question there, Iggy. The cannabis clubs that are all around Spain for people that like to partake in that type of thing. I don't think there'll be any changes as far as those clubs are concerned because they're private clubs, as far as I believe. And what goes on inside those clubs, of course, already isn't considered to be legal in Spain. There's a loophole, of course, that allows these clubs to exist. And people can go in there and smoke their lives away because it's like a private residence. It would be like if your friend Pepe invites you up to his home and you pull out a cigar and start puffing away. If Pepe doesn't have a problem, there's no problem. That's the way those clubs work. Marcus agrees that Spain is generally safe, but there are usually non-tourist neighbourhoods that really are a no-go, like Carabanchel, San Blas, Lavapiés in Madrid, just to name a few. Yeah, always, Marcus, there's, I think that's fairly common in every city around the world, right? Some no-go zones, as you say here. Lavapiés by day, to be fair. So I think Lavapiés, is it one of those neighbourhoods that's going through that gentrification process? Don't know. Liz is in the chat here saying good afternoon from Madrid. Good afternoon to all. Ian saying when the smoking ban started, most smokers walked away to smoke, but over time more started smoking while seated. I will enjoy the change. It's such a big deal. Is it such a big deal, to take a short walk? Probably not, Ian. But, of course, smokers not doing anything illegal, I don't think. Currently sitting outside and having a cigarette at a bar or restaurant. I think during the COVID period they tried to ban it, but not successful, I don't think. Eddie saying that cigarettes are now almost $50 a packet in Australia. Not many smokers left. Oh, Eddie. I beg to differ there because as we can see in some states with the tobacco wars that are going on at the moment, with all of the cheap imports that are coming in, you can pick up a packet of cigarettes at one of these places for around $7 or $8. So you pay $50 if you want a government-sanctioned packet of cigarettes, but if you want an illegal packet of cigarettes, $7 or $8, I think. Hence the firebombing that we read about almost on a weekly basis coming out of places like Victoria, which seems to be the crime capital of the Southern Hemisphere at the moment, overtaking Johannesburg. But, yeah, $50, that was the government plan back in the day. Hasn't really worked because, according to experts, billions in revenue is being lost and the black market is flourishing. And some people, primarily living outside of the country, in places like Dubai, are getting rich. But yeah, if you want to buy government-sanctioned ciggies, $50 a packet. $50 a packet, believe it or not. I think when I was growing up, back in the 1980s, you could get a packet of cigarettes for $2 or $3. Then they started to go up and up and up and up and up and up. And that was the government plan. Might not have worked. Billy saying, I think Spain is a very safe country. I walked around Madrid at all hours of the day and night and never felt in any danger. There we go. Thanks, Billy, for that. Might not have gone to Carabanchel, which was pointed out before. I think parts of Carabanchel might be a bit dodgy. In general, it's a working class neighbourhood, I think. Charlie with a good idea here. We should make cigarettes 50 euros a pack and put the profits to lower the self-employment fees or the self-employed fees in Spain. Good idea, Charlie, but I'm sure that the smokers wouldn't agree with you there. I think, what do you pay for a pack of cigarettes in Spain? 6, 7 euros maybe? 50? I don't reckon that'll be happening anytime soon, but you never know. You never know. Now, on that note, I'm going to wrap the live stream up. It's been a pleasure as always. I will be back again on Thursday with another live stream. Hope to see you then. Thanks for participating in the chat. Hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios, and bye-bye.